sets. So for this, just 6 to 8 total throws. This is the one where Steve talked about, we're looking at the plane of the disc, making sure it's flat. So basically how it works is, we're going to pull the throw back, so say for a backhand, we're going to pull it back to the farthest point that you normally reach, and then stop, okay? So what we want to do is we want to look at the disc, and make sure, and he says, you know, moving only your head, turn and look at the angle. Only moving your wrist, adjust the angle to be as flat as possible. Okay, so when he first looked back, it was up a little bit, so now using his wrist, he's going to adjust it. Okay. What you notice with these subtle adjustments is, just like when we're revving a motorcycle, we really want our wrist to be in that plane. Okay. I get the most snap this way. I'm not getting good snap if I start turning my wrist to the side. So in order to adjust the plane of the disc, I'm not bending my wrist, I'm just turning. Okay. So if I go to pull back and the disc isn't flat, okay, I'm just turning my wrist. I'm not doing this. Okay, if the disc is down like that, I just need to lift my arm up. Okay, so we really want to be conscious that we're not bending our wrist, because we're going to lose a lot of potential power, and it's going to be actually really awkward, and it actually kind of hurts doing that. So when I'm pulling back, if it's not flat, just turn the disc, right? It's really easy to turn that disc. What we don't want to have happen is, if I'm pulling back for a backhand and I'm like this, as I go to throw it, okay, I'm going to be moving it from this plane to this plane, right? So I'm throwing from here, and you can see that little flutter. Okay, so there's inefficiencies there. So if it's straight, then I can pull it back straight here. Another thing to work on, and I like to incorporate this in all of my throws, is as you bring it back, make sure you're cocking your wrist. The last thing we do is snap our wrist. So the first thing I like to do is cock your wrist, okay? It doesn't have to be all the way in, because as you pull back, you know, it might come off a little bit. But we want to think about cocking that wrist, because we'll get way more snap at the end. And then for short throws, I don't have to use much arm. I can just get all that wrist snap in it. Okay. So as we're looking back, look at the angle here, adjust if it's not flat, and then you can throw it. And this is only 6 to 8 throws, but consciously think about this. Okay, think about the planes. I posted a video on planes of the forehand, which is super important, because a lot of people, when they throw forehand, you know, they're starting here and trying to throw it down, and again there's that flutter as it goes down, which we want to eliminate, because for hucking you cannot have that, because you won't be able to huck. And so it's funny, because he says add tilt to the disc in the windup no matter how much, oh sorry, any tilt to the disc in the windup no matter how much it looks cool is just bad. Okay, so people will, like, you know, do this with their forehand, but then how are they going to throw that? They have to come through here. Okay, so instead of that, just think about having it nice and flat. Okay, so we'll do this a couple times. And this is one Steve said really helped, okay, because you're consciously thinking about how I'm releasing the disc. Perfect, okay, you can see him adjust that. And that's something, no matter how long you've been playing, you can still benefit from, because, you know, if we've been working out, if we've gotten more flexible, it'll change how we throw, it'll change our technique a little bit, and it could change the technique enough that all of a sudden we're turning the disc up. Perfect. Cool. Okay, when we talk about deliberate practice, this is exactly what we mean, is making sure that every throw we're thinking about what we're doing. It will get to the point where it becomes more automatic, but we still want to make sure that every time we're throwing it, we're throwing the right throw, we're throwing properly.